Welcome to Fueled by Death Show. Hey, it's not just a podcast anymore. Get ready, the show's about to begin.
Hi, everybody. Hi, D-Man.
Did you see my shirt yet, Jeff?
I did. I really like your shirt. There's a rooster on it.
It's a rooster holding a cup of coffee.
I didn't even notice that. The colors are so awesome on that.
So, Caden named this shirt Cock of the Morning.
That's pretty great. That is pretty
Welcome
great.
to the show, everybody.
And we're here. Welcome to Fueled by Death Show. We're so happy you're here. This is the companion show to episode 103 of the podcast.
For those of you counting at home.
Yes, and we'll get to that very, very shortly. I want to start by telling all you newcomers in the show, if this is your first time joining the show, here's the deal. We always try to give away something cool on this show if you're watching it live. This one's no different. We're going to give away one of our newer diner mugs. We love these mugs. They're dishwasher safe, made in America. It is, I like to party, and by party I mean drink coffee with no pants on.
By the way, that's dangerous.
It is a little dangerous, but we thrive on danger here at Death Wish Coffee.
Woo!
But yeah, the logo on one side, the meme on the other. Super rad. Now, we're not going to, normally, Dustin and myself.
You can't get this mug anymore, by the way.
Yeah, they're gone.
Completely sold out.
So one lucky winner. All you got to do is share this show, drop a comment in those comments, join the conversation, and one lucky comment, as soon as the show is over, will be picked in the comments to win this mug. Now, normally, Demon and myself would sign the bottom of it. Because this is the ceramic diner mug, we're not going to sign it, but I do have one of our fun little random acts of caffeination postcards with our whole crew, the Death Wish Coffee team, right on here. Dustin and myself will sign the back of that and send it out with the mug for you guys. It's that easy. And if you're wondering who we are, I am the Incredible Jeff.
And I am the Cock of the Morning.
The amazing D-Man. And we'd love it if you guys followed us over on social media. It's super easy to do. I am at Jeff Wish Coffee.
And I am at Death Wish Dustin.
And if you have not taken a second today to go follow at Real Christian Slater over on Instagram or at Christian Slater on Twitter, please go do so. And if you already follow him, go tell a random stranger to do the same, because we sure do love ourselves some Christian Slater.
So, cat's out of the bag. People finally found out that Christian Slater is paying us to push
Nobody
him
found
on
that out. He's not paying us.
How do you think we got this new table?
We do have a brand new table. I'm very happy
New
about this.
tablecloth coming soon. I know it's a little bit of it's seen better days.
Yeah. So last week we started elongating our love of Christian Slater. Rather than just telling you guys to go follow him, we want to give you a reason each week to go follow him, because he has such an incredible body of work out there.
I watched Robin Hood last night, by the way.
Still holds up, right?
Yeah,
it's still a fun movie.
It's a great movie.
Again, because of the cast. Alan Rickman is incredible in that
He's
movie.
such a dirtbag in that movie. It's so much fun.
So cool.
You love to hate Alan Rickman.
Oh, my God. So this week, I wanted to talk about another one of my favorite Christian Slater movies, True Romance. Have you ever seen True Romance?
Oh, I don't think so. Let me look it up real
True
quick.
Romance is a Tarantino film in the early days of Tarantino. I think it was right after Reservoir Dogs. He came out with True Romance. It has an incredible cast. Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette, Christopher Walken, Gary Oldman, Brad Pitt, Val Kilmer. It's an incredible story. For those of you who have never seen it, it is Christian Slater, who is kind of like a con man, and he meets Patricia Arquette, who is a call girl.
Yeah, never seen
and
this.
They steal millions of dollars of cocaine from her pimp, who is Gary Oldman. And then, so Gary Oldman, the pimp, gets all of his cronies to go after them because they steal the coke and try to leave the state. And he gets the mob involved. And of course, the mob boss is Christopher fucking Walken. It's such a fun movie. There's so many good lines and so many cool little things of dialogue in there. I have a real short clip that I can play without getting in trouble. I'll play that for you right here.
Of love on the run.
What did you bring that for? Better to have a gun and not need it than a needed gun and not have it.
Starring Christian Slater.
Yeah, honestly, Dustin, I gotta say, this week, if you get the chance,
I'm doing it.
watch the movie. It's
it.
one of my favorite Tarantino movies, outside of just one of my favorite Christian Slater movies. And he's the main character in it. It's such a stacked cast. There's an iconic scene between Christopher Walken and Dennis Hopper that when you see it and you see the speech that Walken gives, I almost guarantee you'll go, I've heard this before, because it's that iconic. It's been, done on Family Guy even and all this other stuff. It's one of those really, really cool movies. So again, Follow Christian Slater, guys, because we love Christian Slater.
We should just have a Christian Slater podcast.
We really should.
We really should.
Speaking of love, though, I got to shout him out because we love him so much. A lot of love goes to our good friend, Brock Powell.
BrockFox.com.
He's the voice actor on this show and 1,000 voices out there in the world. Seriously, go check him out. And if you happen to be on the West Coast living in California near Disneyland, you can go visit him because he is Santa Claus all month long at Disneyland.
Santa Brock.
Santa Brock. Brocky Claus.
Brock and Clausen.
Brock and Clausen. And I do want to say, we did say at the beginning of November, we told you guys about No Shave November, and Dustin and myself were not going to be a part of it, but we were going to be a part of what it stands for now. Last year, they partnered with the American Cancer Society, and I'll put that link up right here. Cancer.org is where you can go donate. Dustin and myself are going to go donate $50 from Fuel by Deathcast, which is basically what we're saying we would have spent on shaving products in a month. It's way more than we would have, but, I mean, it's a great cause. You want to feel good during the holidays, it's a great thing to give to. So, go on over to cancer.org, and any little donation really helps them out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we're making great strides every day, but I think, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, we're going to be looking back at cancer like we're looking back on the bubonic plague. The bubonic plague. And it's just going to be a thing of the past. And the reason why is because of donations like this really kick off some research to help rid our lives of this horrible thing called cancer.
Yes, for sure. So cancer.org for those donations. And stick around, guys. We got an awesome show right in front of us. We got some really cool news about some new products from Death Wish Coffee coming up on the update at the end of the show. We're going to continue our tradition of roasting around the holidays with a little bit of a Hanukkah roast this time around. And we're going to go through some of the traditions from that awesome holiday. We're also going to obviously show you a sneak peek of tomorrow's podcast guest. We're going to let you meet this week's Death Star of the Week. And we've got some fun science segments coming up next. So stick around.
Secret code unlocked. Discount of death.
This week until Wednesday, December 12th. That's right. We're like almost midway through December. I can't fucking believe it. But hey, use the discount code VELVET. Jeff, spell that.
VELVET.
That will nail you 15% off of my most prized merchandise product on our deathwishcoffee.com page, which is the vacuum-sealed coffee canister that we get from a cool company called Planetary Designs.
Love this canister. It sits on my kitchen, my kitchen counter all the time, and it really, that vacuum seal keeps those beans fresh until I want to use them. It's excellent. It's an excellent thing. Everybody should have it, especially, and you can put beans, grounds, K-cups, you can put whatever you want in there. It's really, really good. And all week long, 15% off. Just use that code word VELVET at checkout on deathwishcoffee.com.
Science!
Okay, D-Man, so to kick off science this week, I almost wanted to talk about it last week, but there wasn't enough info back from it yet, so I wanted to hear it all from NASA before we talked about it. But the InSight lander landed on Mars.
Is this what you talked about with NASA earlier today?
No, but we will talk about that later. Yeah. So after 7 months and 300 million miles, NASA's InSight lander touched down safely on a patch of ancient volcanic rock right near the equator of Mars. And right around 3 p.m. on November 26th, this was the first picture it sent back. It's a little dusty on the lens there before it cleaned itself off. But yeah, it's incredible. So the first photos were sent back and relayed to the two CubeSat satellites that are orbiting. They're these tiny little cube satellites that we've talked about on the show before. They're orbiting Mars in conjunction with this lander. So a lot of its data will just hit them. They'll relay it right back to us. It's a lot faster. It's a lot clearer, as you can see from this incredible selfie that InSight took from its arm. After
It took a color photo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We almost never get color from space. That's nice.
It's so cool that it worked without a hitch. And NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine said, "Today we successfully landed on Mars for the 8th time in human history. InSight will study the interior of Mars and will teach us valuable science as we prepare to send astronauts to the moon and later to Mars. This accomplishment represents the ingenuity of America and our international partners, and it serves as a testament to the dedication and perseverance of our team. The best of NASA is yet to come, and it's coming soon."
Wow, that's a big statement.
Super cool. I do have another photo. This is actually from one of the CubeSats orbiting. You can see that's Mars, and that's the little one of the solar arrays coming off the CubeSat. It's really, really cool.
That selfie picture's creepy with it just looks like miles of nothing.
Yeah.
Dude, if one person were on Mars, we'd be able to find them because there's just nothing else there. It's just a giant desert ball.
Totally. Did you guys watch it live? I missed the actual live of it, but I watched the whole thing back from nasa.gov there. It was really fun to watch. In fact, we said on the show how I was talking about, I remembered watching Curiosity Land, and there was the viral sweep of the guy with the mohawk, and I was hoping that there'd be something fun like that.
They
did
did
you see the
slap,
handshake?
yeah,
I've got that for you. You guys missed it. Here's the incredible NASA handshake right here.
You learned the NASA handshake, Jeff?
I think so.
I think so too.
Either that or we should come up with like a Fuel by Deathcast handshake.
No, it'll be the NASA handshake.
Okay, yeah. We'll just rip
We'll get
off
it
NASA.
down.
So in 2 to 3 months' time, after testing out all the instruments on InSight and making sure everything works right and everything is going, it's going to start drilling into the interior of the planet, and we're going to start getting that data back. So you know damn well we're going to talk about it even more on this very science segment.
I mean, what if they find oil?
Maybe, who knows? What if they find diamonds?
Oh.
Or coffee?
I'll tell you what, we'll spend a lot more money on getting to Mars if they do.
Yeah, you're darn
Especially
right.
coffee.
Or oil. So the second thing I wanted to talk about on science today actually has to do with astronomy, but it's back here on Earth. European Paleolithic art reveals the use of complex astronomy. Now, as far back as 40,000 years ago, ancient people were using cave walls to depict constellations in the night sky and record events like comets. Now, we've seen this is one of the most famous cave paintings there is, and we've seen tons of stuff like that. For a very long time, we thought it was just a record of like hunting or what they saw out in the world. Now we know that that's not the case. The University of Kent researcher Alistair Coombs and the University of Edinburgh's Dr. Martin Sweatman said artworks at Paleolithic sites across Europe are not simply depictions of wild animals. Instead, the animal symbols represent star constellations in the night sky and are used to represent dates and mark events such as comet strikes. Now, these scientists and their teams surveyed art in Turkey, Germany, Spain, and France, and they compared the results, or they confirmed the results by comparing the age of the art by carbon dating the ochre that they were using, the pigments that they were using on there, and then lining that up with star maps from that time period.
That's crazy.
Because, you know, stars move in the sky through thousands and thousands of years.
So they can actually pick a year and figure out what the sky looked like at that time.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It is really incredible. So this gets even crazier. The findings suggest that ancient people understood an effect caused by the gradual shift of Earth's rotational axis. This discovery of this phenomenon, called precession of the equinoxes, was previously credited to the ancient Greek astronomer Hipparchus. And that's in 150 BC, okay? Now, these scientists decoded that this famous scene, this is the Lassacroix shaft scene in France, which may commemorate a comet strike in 15,200 BC.
Whoa.
So we thought this Greek dude came up with this in 150 BC. 15,000 years before that, people were looking up at the sky and being able to keep track of time.
That's incredible.
They're saying that at this point, Neanderthals, after the Neanderthal became extinct and, you know, modern man was coming into its own, in Western Europe, people could define dates within the realm of 250 years, which we didn't think they even had an idea of a calendar at that point. So that is really, really cool. They also clarified, and we've talked about this before on this show, the findings at the Göbekli Tepe pillars in Turkey. Now, these officially commemorate a comet strike in 11,000 BC.
Wow.
And again, we thought maybe it was just a depiction of animals or whatever, but no, they're actually coinciding with the stars that they're seeing and making a star map to commemorate this comet strike.
So, you think that they knew a comet strike was happening?
This one hit Turkey in 11,000 BC, so they damn well knew it. It hit it in their backyard, and they were like, what was that? We better carve something into stone to remember this. Like,
Do you think maybe they pushed for a more astronomy-based society because these comets were falling from the sky, and they were like, what the fuck is this? We better find out because there's more coming.
Yep, 100. I thoroughly believe that. In fact, they're even making the claim that the world's oldest sculpture, the Lion Man Holstenstein-Stadel cave sculpture, this guy right here,
Cool.
could have also been found to conform to this ancient timekeeping system, and this was created in 38,000 BC.
Wait, what does that mean? I don't fully understand that.
This is the same thing, that this would have been created to commemorate either a big celestial event or some sort of comet strike, or it lines up with stuff that was happening in the sky when this was created.
So maybe this was the god that they believed was punishing them and throwing
In a sense.
balls of fire on their societies.
In a sense.
Interesting.
Really, really cool. So Dr. Sweatman went on to say, early cave art shows that people had advanced knowledge of the night sky within the last ice age. Intellectually, they were hardly any different than us today. These findings support a theory of multiple comet impacts over the course of human development and will probably revolutionize how prehistoric populations are seen.
Wow.
So this is revolutionary. This is going to really make everybody kind of look back at everything we found thus far on caves and go, is this just somebody hunting a woolly mammoth or something, or is it they actually are they connotating something a heck of a lot more? You know,
I've always believed that prehistoric man was much more civilized than we could have ever assumed, because I believe that these why am I having trouble with the word comet? Jesus. Okay. These comet strikes keep on setting them back, right?
Yeah.
You know, it keeps on hitting them, keeps on wiping them out, keeps on blasting out technologies that they had come up with, and we just don't have any record of it.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat that like they've actually confirmed this on some, and they're really they're working hard to confirm it on others. And we're gonna probably find that this is, like he said, is gonna change how we perceive ancient civilizations. And this is ancient, 38,000 BC,
That's insane.
15,000 BC.
That's insane.
That's before ancient Egypt. I mean, well, not necessarily. I mean, there was ancient Egypt at that time, but not the one that.
I mean,
you know,
we
the Great
just
Pyramid and all that stuff.
We just assumed that they thought the stars in the sky were just lights. You know, we just assumed that they had no idea of what was going on.
Yeah.
I just don't think that was the case. They had a
No.
lot more time to think about these things.
Yeah.
And especially if shit was coming down on them, they were like, well, let's sit around and figure this shit out.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, it just goes to show, too, because, I mean, one of the earliest forms of, you know, tracking that is kind of the sundial technology. Think Stonehenge. Think that type of thing where, you know, people would erect a monument that would align with what they see in the sky, and then their ancestors find out, wait a minute, this doesn't align with that thing anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like it must have dawned on them very early on, like, oh, shit, that shit moves up there.
Well, they might have even been like, well, I can't tell if that shit is moving up there, so let's build something, and we'll come back in a few years and see how it looks.
Yeah.
You know, they're just kind of like markers of how everything's moving along in the sky, and that's
Yeah.
how they would start to get ideas of what was going on there.
It's so cool. So if we hear more about that, I'll definitely talk more about that on this show as well, because we talk a lot about what's happening in space, but it's cool to think that space has been affecting us since the dawn of time.
I mean, you're talking about a world with no electricity and
No, nothing.
nothing, and it's like, what did they do? Well, they sat around and they looked at the sky and
Yeah.
they told stories and eventually started to figure shit out.
And the sky looked way better back then, too, because there was no light pollution.
No light pollution at
Yeah.
all, except for the balls of fires coming from the sky. Like, shit!
Good, good. It is a fully operational Death Star of the week.
All right, guys, so it's that time again. If you are not a fan or a friend of the official Death Wish Coffee Company community page over on Facebook, get on it, because you'll meet just about every single person that we feature on the Death Star every single week. This week's no different. If you've never met Amy Evicks Mattingly, you're going to meet her right now. Amy, let's start it off. I want to know, when did you first hear about the company, Death Wish Coffee? Either did you first hear about it from the coffee or the company? How did you find out about Death Wish Coffee?
Well, that's a crazy story. I'm a shift worker, and we love our caffeine. And me and a few friends were looking for the strongest coffee we could find. And on a dare 5.5 years ago, we found Death Wish Coffee, and I drew the short straw, and I had to go buy a pound of it and try it.
No way. So it was a dare?
It was a dare because, of course, it had a skull on it, and it was saying, drink at your, with your own warning on it. And so I took it, and I fell in love with Death Wish Coffee 5.5 years ago.
Wow, that is amazing. So how much coffee do you drink a day?
I could probably go through a pot of coffee a day, especially when I'm working.
Oh, wow. And what's your go-to brew method?
My go-to is I usually just do, the standard pot of coffee. I've just recently started going into the Chemex, or however you say that.
No, you're close. It's Chemex.
Chemex. Got it. I just started getting into that, and I like that a lot better, but it's not work-friendly for me.
Yeah, no, it definitely, you need to take your time with that, and it's kind of like a mad scientist chemistry set there, but
it really is. It definitely is. So then I have to find the poor man's pour over when I can.
Right. So another question I always ask, is, and you've been a fan of the company and the product for better part of 5 years, like you said, do you collect the mugs at all?
I collect the mugs, and I have almost all of them.
Whoa.
But I hit a lull where I kind of got away, and it's probably the ones that I'll never ever get.
Oh yeah, there's some white whales out there for sure. What was the first mug that you ever got from Death Wish Coffee?
My first mug was, from what everyone says, the original, the OG, the little bitty camper mug. That was my first one, and I bought 4 of those, thinking I could just have a set because I didn't know about the coffee company. I didn't know what it was about. I just thought the mug was really cool. I love skulls, so I picked that up, and then the next couple of months they started coming out with a few more, and Lucky Larry was my very next one, and I had no idea that it would get so big until probably about a year and a half ago, when I joined the Death Wish Coffee Company Facebook page and found out that it was a crazy community.
Yeah, it really is. We had no idea that the mug life was going to be a thing either, but we love it. Do you have a favorite mug in your collection?
I had no idea.
Do you have a favorite mug in your collection?
My favorite mug is my Lucky Larry. I love the colors in it and just the style of the mug. They haven't come out with one like that since then.
Yeah. Well, we might be doing something close this year. I don't know.
I would love to see that style again.
So, through it all, then the final question I got to get to then is, you've seen what we've done in the last 5 years. You've seen us go to the Super Bowl and beyond. You've seen us come out with all these different types of mugs and the merchandise. Is there anything that we haven't tried at Death Wish Coffee that you'd like to see us try?
You know what? You guys have hit so many different high points, and I'm just been totally amazed by everything you've done. I'm a Harley rider. I mean, I live on my bike sometimes 9 months out of the year, and anything that I can put on my bike, I just go to town with it. So I don't know if they would like to come and do something for us motorcycle riders as far as a license plate cover or something we could put on our bikes. That would be great.
That's a cool idea. Well, we love the whole motorcycle culture, and we did in the style of that on that denim jacket, like the biker patch there. But I'd love to do more of that kind of stuff. I never thought of a license plate cover. That's a really cool idea.
and it's something small and could be marketable. And, you know, my bike has skulls all over it. So, I mean, I'm halfway there, you know, the Death Wish bike.
Oh yeah, no. My mother actually rode Harley for a while, and she did the same thing. She got, because as you know too, you can get it all customized with like pretty much every single
yeah.
piece can have the Harley skull on it. It's incredible.
Right down to the last bolt and screw. You are correct.
It's really awesome. That's great. I gotta ask you then finally. Where are you located? Where are you based out of?
I am currently right now actually rode the bike 2.5 hours south. I'm in Charleston. I'm
okay.
just chilling out in Charleston today.
So you get
Charleston, South Carolina.
You get all year round. You can really be on that bike pretty much. That's awesome.
You got that right.
That is so great. Well, Amy, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time and talking with us on the Death Star today. It was a lot of fun.
Well, hey, thank you so very much, and I'm super excited that you hit me up.
Yeah.
The Fueled by Death guest.
Oh man, I just love Dave Kushner.
I mean, not only is he one of my favorite guests that we've ever had on the show, he's one of my most favorite people in the world. This guy is the coolest dude in the world. He really is.
So last season we had Dave, or maybe early this season we had Dave on the show. We had him on the phone. He is the guitarist of Velvet Revolver. He's done so many other things in the realm of music, and we talked all about that on the first time that we had him on the show.
By the way, after the first time we had him on the show, there were music publications everywhere that picked up our show because we had revealed some information that had not been known by anybody until Dave Kushner spilled the beans here on the Fueled by Deathcast.
That famed singer Frankie Perez actually tried out to replace Scott Weiland in Velvet Revolver.
Also, the fact that Velvet Revolver fired Stone Temple Pilots?
Yes, fired him. Yeah,
fired Scott Weiland.
Yeah,
which was not talked about before.
And if you guys want to go back and listen to that episode, go right ahead. I'll put that link up here.
But we got new juicy stuff.
We went out to L.A. recently, and Dave was so nice to invite us into his home and his home studio, and we got to talk more about music with him. We got to talk about composing music for TV shows, because he is one of the music composers on F is for Family. If you missed last week's episode with comedian Bill Burr, we talked all about F is for Family. Talk a little bit more about it with this week's episode as well. It's the other half of the story of getting Bill to play with Slash.
So good.
It's lining music up to animation and what he has to go through with all that kind of stuff. It's an incredible conversation, and it all comes out tomorrow on Fueled by Deathcast. But we have a sneak peek with Dave Kushner right here for you guys.
You get like the scenes, and then
Yeah.
you have to put the music under that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, the process is. So, and I didn't know any of this, dude. When I went and did that first show, I did it with a buddy of mine, John, and he had done it before. And he, so you go to what they call a spotting session. So they do like a what they call a locked version, which means we're not going to change it anymore. Okay. There's no more editing. Like, this is it.
Right. Yeah.
They have a time code stamped on it, and they'll say like, and then you'll sit in a room with like whoever's the most music focused guy, whether it's a producer or the director, or typically not the director, but usually like a producer or the creator or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you'll all sit in a room and you'll basically watch the episode, and then you take notes and you go by the time code and you just say like, and they'll temp in a lot of stuff. Like the editors, when they're editing, they'll put in like temporary music,
Like clips and stuff to like
because
give you an idea, give you a starting point.
Yeah, because the dude will say like, the creator comes in and says, my overall tone for F is for Family is, all takes place in the 70s. I want blah blah blah, but I want
a lot of wah pedals.
Yeah, but I want also like like orchestrated stuff, because one of the guys, the co-creator, was from The Simpsons, so he likes a lot of like actual orchestration and shit. So and they'll come in and they'll say, this is the vibe overall, and the editors usually have like big libraries and drives full of all kinds of music, and they'll find stuff and they'll source stuff, and so then they'll just put in a bunch of stuff in scenes, and you'll watch it, and then they'll say like, oh, this is good except it's too schmaltzy, or this is too dramatic, or this gives away the fact that this guy's gonna, lose his dog or whatever. And so then you just sit there and you take notes, and it's like, oh, you want it to start at, 11:33, and you go and you sit there and you write all this shit down, and then you go back to your place and you make a list of like, okay, these are all the scenes, and you just start knocking down the list. And the first season we did it all together, and now, it's because everyone's trying to get more work and do other things too. So it's like, I mean, we talk on the phone, me and Vince, but we just basically we get the list, we do the spotting session, and then we just say like, okay, I'll do 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, and 12, whatever. And then he'll be like, okay, cool. Or, well, what I want to do this one. And then that's it. And then I'll just do it all here.
Happy birthday. Surprise. I'm naked.
All right, birthdays this week, D-Man. First up on Saturday, December 8th, an incredible singer, incredible rock and roll star out there, Mr. Corey Taylor is turning 45 years old. You might know a couple of his projects. He is the singer of Stone Sour, and he is also, when he dons the mask, he is the crazy singer of the metal band Slipknot.
Dude, I got some awesome. Actually, we can probably put some pictures that I took from the show.
Because they are pictures you took.
Yeah, some great pictures too.
Yes, so hopefully we can find those pictures. Dustin was moonlighting as a rock and roll photographer during a Slipknot show once.
I keep those pictures close because if ever I want to brag about being at a show, that's one of my most favorite. That was one of my most favorite moments.
So so we'll try to find those pictures and throw them in the show.
No, I'm telling you, Jeff, I don't have to try to find them. They're like the first thing it's on my phone.
But happy birthday to Corey, and Corey has a little tangential parallel to this show as well. We had an incredible comic book artist and writer, Richard Clark, on this show, and Richard actually worked with Corey on a comic book, The House of Golden Bones, and you guys can go check out that episode with Richard Clark where we talk about working with Corey. He said it was one of the greatest experiences he's ever had.
Corey Taylor seems like a really awesome dude.
Yeah, so I'll put that link in for that show if you guys want to check that out. On Sunday, December 9th. Now, last year, we wished this guy a happy birthday, and I thought full well it'd probably be the last time we wish him a happy birthday. I can't believe we're doing it again. KIRK Douglas is 102 years old on Sunday. 102 years old. There he is pictured with his son,
whose
Michael.
baby's blood did he drink? I want some of that shit. Damn, son.
Incredible. This guy, obviously, star of the silver screen, one of the last film actors from that generation. You know him as the iconic Spartacus. You know this movie. It's so iconic. But what an incredible career KIRK had. And he's still kicking it. He was just at an awards ceremony like last year.
It's crazy, man.
It's crazy. 102. Happy birthday, KIRK. 102. I hope I live to be half that age. That's crazy. I know you want to die when you're 40. I get it.
I decided we moved it to 50.
Oh,
Jeff.
yeah, that's right. Now he's going to die at 50. So almost half.
40's the new 30. So
there you go. Finally, this week on Tuesday, December 11th, another icon of music, NIKKI SIXX is turning 60 years old for the NIKKI SIXXer.
Now he's NIKKI 60.
NIKKI 60. Hashtag NIKKI 60.
Your name sucks now.
Obviously, NIKKI SIXX is known for his work with the band Motley Crue. Back in the 80s, they were like the biggest of the big, But he's had a lot more success, too, with his side project, 6 a.m. This is actually a photo of the band that our good friend Dustin Jack took. And he's got his own syndicated radio show as well. He still is very, very active, does a lot of cool stuff. And we really hope that you have a great and happy birthday, NIKKI. And we hope everybody has a happy birthday this week.
I smell a roast.
Does it smell like candles burning?
Maybe
8 or 9 candles?
A little. So to keep in the vein of our holiday tradition, as the big holidays approach us, we like to talk about them on the roast. We like to learn a little bit more about them. We like to learn some fun traditions that we might not have known about. And last year, we kind of lumped them all together around this time of year. And I didn't want to do that this year. I wanted to devote an entire roast to the holiday of Hanukkah because honestly, I didn't know a lot about Hanukkah.
It's Hanukkah now.
It is Hanukkah right now. I thought it was the perfect time to do it. December 2nd through the 10th this year is Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah for all of those of you who celebrate. And I'm sure a lot of us know at least the general story of it. It's called the Celebration of Lights because in the 2nd century, the Greeks were oppressing the people of Israel. And Judah the Maccabee led a small group of people to push them back and defeated one of the largest armies in the world at that time. and they reclaimed the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. And when they went to light the lamp after, getting back to the temple, they realized they only had enough oil to last for about a day. And so they were like, okay, we're going to do it. And they lit it, and it lasted for 8 days and 8 nights, long enough for them to get more oil to keep the lamp lit in the Holy Temple, which was a miracle. And so to this day, Hanukkah celebrates that miracle, which is really cool. And it's celebrated worldwide and practiced by the Jewish faith.
Such a cooler story than Christmas. I'm sorry.
It really is.
This is like Christmas, go fuck yourself. We warded off the biggest army with our smallest army, and our shit was supposed to die like a day ago, but we're on day 8, and this shit's still burning.
It's so much cooler.
Fuck you, Christmas.
And obviously, it's practiced by so many people worldwide. They light menorahs, they spin dreidels, eat that matzah, and they get, which I used to be jealous of in elementary school all the time, all of my Jewish friends, they get 8 days of presents. In fact, I had a friend who had the best of both worlds. His parents were divorced, and he had Christmas with one and Hanukkah with the other, so he got 9 days of presents. So
yeah, but his parents were divorced, so.
Yeah. You're right. It's like
it's a trade-off.
So I did a little digging, and I wanted to find some fun facts about this holiday that I didn't know a lot about. Because I want you guys to sound off in the comments if you do celebrate it. I'd love to hear some funny stories or some funny things about maybe some gifts you got. In fact, same friend, there was this story that he told us one year where he was younger, and because a lot of families, what they'll do is they'll give little gifts leading up to that last night.
And then the last night they get the
right.
good
and
gift.
One of the gifts he got was one night was a pack of pencils, and another night was a notepad. And it was so he could write a thank you note to his grandma and grandpa for the presents afterwards. So it's like they're baiting him for it, and I was like, oh, what a shitty present.
That's horrible.
Yeah. So like if you have any funny stories like that,
what a way to make a kid hate Hanukkah.
Feel free to drop them in the comments. I didn't know. I was looking online. Like I always thought that either it was different parts of the world were spelling it differently, or there was a one specific way to spell it, and Americans were wrong. And that's not the case, because you've probably seen it Hanukkah with 2 N's, or Hanukkah with 1 N, or Hanukkah with the CH.
No, they were using different letters and a different alphabet, so this is just our lost in translation kind of situation.
It's just a lost in translation. Yeah. In fact, I found out that up to 5 years ago, on the internet, it was widely always printed with the CH. And only in the last 5 years has it changed to being printed with the H.
Weird.
Super weird. Also, it's not the biggest holiday in the Jewish religion. Actually, in the Torah, Passover and Rosh Hashanah are both talked about, and Hanukkah is not, because a lot of the tradition of Hanukkah happened after those texts were written. So that importance actually came in the 20th century, thanks to America, and its incredibly, dependence on the Christmas season.
Yeah.
The leaders of the Jewish faith were like, well, we have a holiday. We can do something to kind of, create more awareness. So only in the 20th century did they create that awareness, and it became this global, widely celebrated holiday as we know it today, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Interesting.
And I also found out we now know that the dates change every year.
Yep.
And I was like, well, why is that?
I asked that the other day.
It's because it always falls on the same day from the Jewish calendar. It's the 25th day of their month of Kiev. Now, their calendar is what is called a lunisolar calendar. The Gregorian calendar, the one that we all use, as the normal calendar, that's only based on the phases of the sun. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's why there's 365 days a year, and it's only based on the sun. The Jewish calendar is called a lunisolar calendar because it's based on the phases of the sun and the moon.
Interesting.
So any year can have anywhere between 353 days to 385 days. So that's why anywhere between late November and late December, Hanukkah can fall.
Okay.
And so this year, it's December 2nd through the 10th.
Now I know.
Yeah, pretty neat.
Thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome. Obviously, the thing that's associated the most is the menorah. It's 8 candles and 1 helper candle called the shamish.
Did you know the original one had 7?
7, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one outside the Holy Temple.
Yeah.
And there actually is a replica of it now because it was lost to antiquity. It was probably stolen and melted down for the gold that it was made out of.
Yeah, who knows?
But there is a replica out there now that you can visit, which is pretty neat. All in all, to light the menorah, you need 44 candles because you burn them all down, each night. So to, the first night through the 8th night, you need 44 candles to do them all. And they sell them scented now. So you can get vanilla candles, you can get pumpkin spice menorah candles, you can get... yeah.
How did we miss that on Pumpkin Spice Day?
I know, right? When we roasted pumpkin spice, how did we miss the pumpkin spice menorah candle?
Damn it.
I don't know.
Next year.
So I found out, too, speaking of the menorah, this is nuts. This very year, the world's largest menorah was constructed right in Central Park in New York City, right near the Plaza Hotel, 32 feet high and 4,000 pounds. Here's a photo, actually, of it just the other day getting lit. Yeah, the largest menorah right in Central Park. The other thing about the holiday of Hanukkah is the food that is associated with it. Most of the food is cooked in oil to celebrate the oil from the lamps. So you get the latkes, the potato pancakes.
I do like latkes.
Me too. The kugel. Gelt, which is the chocolate coins.
I like to fuck around and call it guilt.
Guilt, yes. And my favorite, the sufganiyot, or the jelly donut.
Oh.
These are delicious. 17.5 million oily jelly donuts are consumed each year in Israel.
Wow.
It's incredible. And I did
through them.
I did a little digging because I was like, did they invent the jelly donut? Like, where did that even come from? So I looked it up. The jelly donut was actually created in Germany in 1485. It was originally a much more savory treat because sugar was scarce. So they put jam in there, but they would also have like meats or mushrooms or like a much more savory kind of dough pocket.
So it's like a
meat pocket.
Yeah, that sounds good.
But it wasn't until later when sugar became widely available and not as expensive that they actually started making the sugary treat. And they've been called jelly donuts, I didn't know this, have been called Berliners in Germany forever.
Oh.
So if you're ever in Germany and you want a Berliner, it's a jelly donut.
I'm going to make that reference. Nobody knows it. I'm not going to tell them why.
In the late 1920s, the Israeli Labor Federation championed the jelly donut as a Hanukkah treat because it took more work to make, so they created jobs for the workforce to make the jelly donut.
A jelly donut simulated economy. Everything I've always wanted.
And then I had to type this in, too, to Google just to find out. There are no pictures, unfortunately, so I don't know how much credit I give to it, but I did find the newspaper article. The largest jelly donut ever made was made in 1993 right here in New York in Utica. It was 1.7 tons and was 16 feet wide and 16 inches high. It is in the Guinness Book of World Records.
It sounds like a bellyache.
Yeah, it sounds like lots of belly aches.
Oh, man.
Woo!
I would eat that
after.
shit, though. I don't know.
I wonder what they did with it after, because I desperately tried to find a picture of it.
I mean, you have to eat it.
Yeah.
You can't not eat. It's going to go bad.
Yeah,
you got to eat it. They must have, like, cut it up and parceled it out.
Yeah, they must have.
Just jelly sticky mess.
God,
just a horrible sticky mess.
The worst. And then a couple more things about Hanukkah. The dreidel, which I found out, which I thought was really cool. It's that little top that they play with.
It's a game.
It's a game. It was actually a cover for students back in the day, because you weren't allowed, when the Greeks were around, you weren't allowed to study the Torah because they wanted you to practice Christianity.
So the dreidel was a way to study the Torah, but it was shown as, like, people thought it was a game, so they were able to get away with it and study the Torah at the same time.
Genius.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and it makes it fun for kids to want to learn about their religion, so it's a win-win all around, which is incredible. And then I also brought up the whole thing about gelt, which is that now it's the gold coins that are chocolate, and I love
like the
those.
cheapest, crappiest chocolate.
Yeah,
too.
But I still love it.
It's hard to.
I used to get those in my.
It's been hard up to find like good quality chocolate gelt, but it's not really out there.
Right. The tradition. This is really the only tradition of giving presents for Hanukkah until the 20th century, when they started doing the much more sensationalized version that we have now. But the tradition was to give gelt as an incentive to learn the Torah. Now, that was back in the day for kids. If you're learning the Torah, you'd get gelt, and it was actual golden coins.
Ooh.
So you would get like a little bit of money during this holiday, and it would entice obviously kids to want to do it because kids don't have, you never have money when you're a kid, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, I get to read the Torah a couple times and get a couple coins from Grandpa.
Eat a
Awesome.
couple jelly donuts.
Yeah, awesome.
Let's
I'm
get
in.
down.
And then finally, the thing about Hanukkah is it just is scarce in pop culture, in the references of pop culture. Honestly, thank you, Adam Sandler, for doing everything he's done.
Yeah.
The very funny and very famous Saturday Night Live skit where he did the Hanukkah song, which he's updated a couple times since then. But, I mean, that is one of the few songs around the season outside of Dreidel, Dreidel, Dreidel.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler also championed it in his movie, his animated movie, 8 Crazy Nights,
Right.
which was all from that. And it's really, really hard to find other pop culture references. There's a famous Rugrats episode, the Nickelodeon cartoon, where they did a Rugrats Hanukkah. There was a Friends episode where Ross was trying to explain Hanukkah to his son, and his son didn't want anything to do with it because there's no Santa Claus, so he dressed up as a big armadillo because Friends, you know. There's just you'd think there would be more. You think there would be more about it. And there is Jewish pop culture out there. You think of Fievel or think of Fiddler on the Roof or that kind of thing, you know. But I mean, like, it's
Fievel was Jewish?
Yes, Fievel Moskowitz, yo.
Whoa.
Oh, man, did your mind just get blown? Yeah, dude. Yeah, it was
An American Tale?
Yeah, an American Tale, and it's a Jewish family trying to make it in Old World America.
Oh.
Yeah, right?
Oy vey.
Oy vey. But yeah, so I implore Hollywood out there, get on it, make some Hanukkah. Why isn't there are so many movies. You said at the top of this roast, the origin story of Hanukkah is way more interesting than the origin story of Christmas, right? How many movies can you think of that show the origin of Christmas? The Three Kings coming and giving the gifts to baby Jesus, or even The Passion of the Christ, which deals with the entire span of Jesus Christ. All of this stuff centered around the religious origin of Christmas. Why haven't we ever gotten, this plucky band of
I got it.
Okay.
I got it. It'll be a Michael Bay style, 300 type movie where it's just a small army fighting
the Greeks.
Oh man, that would be so great. And then they finally get it, and they're all starving and like, oh my god, we only have oil for one day. We're totally not gonna make it. It keeps on burning it, dude. That would be a great fucking movie.
Get on it, Hollywood.
Michael Bay, get on that shit. Explosions.
Hanukkah movie.
I'd watch that shit.
Yeah.
But don't push it as a Hanukkah movie. Make it one of those things where people go to see it. It's like, oh, that was a great action movie, and then they find out later that it was like, oh, that's the story of Hanukkah, bitch. And you're like,
how great would it be if there's so much surrounding Christmas, yet Hanukkah not only makes an incredible Hanukkah movie, but it's like a blockbuster action movie. It'd
be awesome. It would be awesome.
It's right there. It's already written. All you got to do is make it, Hollywood. Get on it.
D-Man's Death Wish Update. Brought to you by Death Wish Coffee.
Alrighty, guys. So today on the update, got some new stuff to talk about. Tomorrow, 'tis the holiday season. So like we said, we're coming out with a ton of stuff to end the year right. And tomorrow, we're coming out with a bundle. You have the name of this bundle. What is it called?
It's not an official name, by the way. It's a to-go or at-home 5-pound bundle. So what this is it'll be a 5-pound bag of Death Wish, either ground or whole bean. And with that 5-pound bag of Death Wish, you will get a to-go cup, which this thing is nice little. It's plastic.
Nice plastic cup, which means it's microwavable safe. It's dishwasher safe.
It's not super high quality, but it's a nice little to-go cup.
Yep.
And then if you're at home, we're tying in a Death Wish ceramic 2018
hammer mug. So you get the hammer mug, you get this brand new, it's called a cafe cup. A cafe cup, and a 5-pound bag of coffee.
Yeah.
Perfect starter gift. Again, keep it for yourself or put it under the tree and give it to somebody. I mean, like,
That'd make an awesome gift.
it would make an awesome gift, and that's what we're trying. We're trying to come out with some bundles. We're trying to come out with some new products for you guys over the holiday season. I know we've been inundating you with a ton of stuff, but we're just so excited for it. We love making stuff.
And we have more stuff.
Yeah, we do have more stuff right around the corner. You guys have been asking about this a lot on the show. Right around the corner, here comes the kettle.
I feel like I need like a drum roll.
We've shown it a couple times. We're so excited about this.
Have we shown like this one though?
Yes. Yep.
With the cool little logo on the bottom?
It's got the logo on the bottom. Now, this can be used on an electric grill, a grass grill.
You got it, buddy.
Yeah, I sure did. A gas grill, and it's got that logo on the bottom, which will definitely wear off after use. It's the gooseneck kettle, which is perfect for all your pour-over needs. And it's got Death Wish coffee on the handle, and the built-in thermometer actually has the logo on it too, which is really rad. I'll put some up-close photos in there as well. This is right around the corner.
Do you have one of these at home?
I don't yet. I can't wait to get one.
I do you have like a gooseneck kettle though?
No, I've just got
super handy.
I've got a kettle that looks like a kettlebell.
Oh, that's funny.
Which is weird, but yeah.
Is it supposed to look like a kettlebell?
No, but it's just a little round black kettle with a handle on it.
That's a really great idea.
But kettleballs. But it did just start leaking from the neck of it because it's not a gooseneck. It like comes up from there.
Right.
It just started leaking. So it's like I've been waiting for this to come out along with you guys because I can't wait to get it because I'm gonna have a brand new kettle now.
I even use it with my big old French press where I'll pour over. It's a very nice, controlled, smooth pour, which means you can evenly distribute the boiling water over your coffee grounds.
And a lot of people don't know this. There is a specific temperature you want for your pour-overs, whether it's French press or Chemex.
195 to 205 degrees is usually what it is. And, yeah, this is marked around 197 to 205. So it's a little bit more, which is
and there's actual markings right on it. Yeah. So you know where you want to go. There's that little red area. It's awesome.
Which is really important. The reason why is that if you get under that 195 degrees, you don't break down the bean enough to get all the delicious things that you want from your coffee. But if you go over that 205 degree mark, you start to break down the composition of the shell of the bean.
Yeah.
So that's why you get that dirty, earthy taste when your water's too hot. So a gooseneck kettle like this is really essential for any coffee drinker's kitchen.
It's true. And it's right around the corner, guys. Like super, super soon, we're coming out with that. And speaking of super soon, next week even, I don't have one physically here.
Is there one here?
But I'll put up the pictures. We've been talking about it every single show. We're so excited about it. The mug hook. The mug hook is coming out next week. We've got two different ways to buy it. You can either buy it as a single mug hook, or we're going to sell it in packs of 3, which is really rad. It comes with 2 screws and instructions to hang it, and its own special box designed by an award-winning box guy over here.
Oh, that's me. I'm the box guy.
You are. And so it's really, really rad. I desperately, desperately want you guys to understand, follow the directions, because we are not going to be held responsible if you have this mug hook and you screw it into drywall and then put your favorite mug on that mug hook and it falls down. That just,
I'm looking at you, Zach Wild Guitar.
Yeah. For real, follow the instructions, find a stud, put it into something that's really, really, really sturdy. But you can use it for all sorts of things. Like we were saying before, it's not necessarily just a mug hook. It's designed by incredible sculptor Paul Harding. Shout out to Paul Thomas, but you didn't describe it. You didn't do it. Paul Harding did. And it looks like an awesome skeleton finger. And obviously it'll look great just mounted on the wall like that, but you could put it underneath something so it kind of comes out like that and use it as like a coat rack or a key rack or a hat rack.
I want to tell a secret about the finger.
Okay.
So Thomas Dragonetti originally designed it. Mm-hmm. And so this will only be for you show listeners.
Okay.
A little nugget of knowledge. But that finger is modeled after a middle finger. Mm-hmm.
Of course it is. I mean, what else would we do here?
We're
at Death Wish
Coffee. Yeah, we're not fucking around.
That's really rad. But yeah, so
I don't know if Thomas would be mad that I spilled the beans on
No, and if he is, fight us.
Thomas can fight.
I know he can.
I don't want him. I don't want to fight Thomas.
Well, you're gonna have to because I'm not gonna fight him.
Oh shit.
next week on Fueled by Death Show. Fight to the death. No, I'm just kidding. He won't be mad. Nobody's mad. I think that's a cool little piece of trivia about it.
Don't tell anybody.
We're so excited about this mug hook. It's going to be great. And like we said, we did a pretty good run of them to begin with. But we hope you guys like them, because if you like them and you buy them, we'll make more. Because I think this would be a great product to have always on the website, not just a one and done.
Yeah.
Like the mugs. I think it'd be great to have always, but we don't know how it's going to go. Maybe you guys are all going to think we're crazy. We are crazy.
We are crazy.
But I think it's a really cool product. So next week, get ready to get those. And that'll be another great little holiday thing for sure. I know I want to get at least one to start out with. And I'm not sure where I want to put it yet.
Well, you're going to be able to get it in a 1 or 3 pack. Did you already say that?
I did. No, I did, but that's fine. I'm going to just get the one, just because I want to use it in the house somewhere. I just don't know if I want to use it like for a mug, or if I want to use it for like my keys, or I don't know. I could either put it in my kitchen, or I could put it in my living room.
Hang your cat up on it.
I should hang my cat up on it. That'd be really funny. But yeah, so tons of cool stuff coming out in the near future. Get ready for all that. And we'll have more to tell you on next week's update. So stay tuned for that. And that's the show, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in, for watching, for sharing, for commenting. One final time, if you haven't done it, share and comment. And one lucky comment, as soon as we sign off, will be picked to win this diner mug. D-Man and myself, I'll send it right out to you. Don't forget to tune into the podcast tomorrow, episode 103, with musician Dave Kushner. We talk about all sorts of cool stuff, including writing music for F is for Family, which is really rad. And one final time, if you haven't yet, please follow Dustin and myself on social media. It's really easy. It's been at the bottom of the screen the whole time. I am at Jeff Wish Coffee.
And I am at Death Wish Dustin.
And we'll be back next week with a brand new Fueled by Death show, a brand new Fueled by Death podcast, and a whole lot of more fun. See you then.
Adios.
Bye.